In Los Angeles, choosing the wrong property type can cost you more than choosing the wrong neighborhood. And I know that sounds dramatic, but here is why it is true. You can pick the right area, the right price range, even the right looking home online, and still end up with something that does not fit the way you actually want to live. The mistake usually happens because buyers focus on the fun part first. The kitchen, the balcony, the cute street, the idea of saying, I bought in LA. Very exciting and very understandable. Also slightly dangerous because a condo, a townhome, and a single family home are not just three different types of property. They are three very different ownership experiences. One might give you better location and easier maintenance, but less control. Another may offer more room and a more residential feel, while still coming with rules, shared walls, or stairs you did not think would bother you. A detached home can give you privacy and flexibility, but now the roof, the plumbing, the landscaping, and the mystery sound in the wall are all very much your business. So today, we are not just talking about which one looks better. We are talking about which one fits your budget, your patience, your lifestyle, your parking needs, your future plans, and how much responsibility you actually want after you move in. Because the right property type should make your life feel easier, not secretly become your second job. If you are already comparing condos, townhomes, and single-family homes in LA, comment which one you are leaning toward right now. I want to know what your instinct is before we get into the reality of each one. Let's start with the question most buyers skip. What kind of homeowner are you actually trying to be? Not what kind of home looks impressive. Not what you thought you were supposed to want. I mean, your real life ownership style. Are you someone who wants to lock the door, leave for the weekend, and not think about exterior maintenance? Do you want more space but still like the idea of shared upkeep? Would total control make you happy, or would it stress you out the second something breaks? Some buyers love the idea of a house until they realize the house is going to need things from them constantly. Others dismiss condos too quickly because they assume shared living means they are settling, when in reality, a condo might put them closer to the life they actually want. Townhomes sit in the middle, which sounds simple, but the middle is not always neutral. Sometimes it's the perfect balance. Other times, it's a compromise that does not fully solve the real problem. That's why property type matters so much in LA. You are not only choosing walls and square footage, you are choosing a relationship with the home. And some homes are low drama, some are high maintenance. Some are adorable online and emotionally expensive in real life. Let's talk about condos first, because in many parts of Los Angeles, especially on the Westside, condos are often the first property type that makes a buyer say, okay, this might actually work. And that can be a smart place to start. A condo can get you into areas where a detached home may be way outside the budget. Santa Monica, Playa Vista, Marina del Rey, Culver City, West Hollywood, Beverly Grove, Brentwood, and parts of West LA can all bring condos into the conversation very quickly. The main benefit is usually access. You may be closer to restaurants, coffee shops, gyms, work, shopping, nightlife, beach areas, or the kind of daily convenience that made you want to live in LA in the first place. For someone with a busy schedule, that can be huge. A condo can also make life feel simpler. Less exterior maintenance, fewer weekend projects, potential amenities, more lock and leave flexibility. A building setup that may feel easier if you travel, work a lot, or do not want every tiny property issue landing on your plate. But here's where condos can get sneaky. The list price is not the full story. HOA dues can change the entire monthly picture. And I don't mean that in a boring spreadsheet way. I mean in a, wait, how did this payment become that payment kind of a way. The HOA might cover things that are genuinely useful: building insurance, maintenance, landscaping, security, water, trash, amenities, common areas, elevators, parking structures, or a gym you may or may not actually use. The important question is whether the fee improves your life enough to justify the cost. A well-managed building with amenities you use can be worth it. Paying every month for things that do not matter to you feels very different. Then there are the rules. Condos come with a community structure, and that structure has opinions. Renovations may need approval. Flooring changes could have restrictions. Pet rules matter. Rental policies can affect future plans. Parking, storage, balcony use, noise, short-term rentals, and building access all need to be reviewed before you fall in love with the unit. None of that means condos are bad. It means a condo buyer needs to like the home and the building. That's the part people miss. You are buying the unit, yes, but you are also buying into the way that building operates. A beautiful condo in a frustrating building can get old fast. A slightly simpler unit in a well-run building may make your life much easier. So condos tend to work best when location, convenience, amenities, and lower maintenance are more important to you than having full control. That could be a great fit for first-time buyers, busy professionals, frequent travelers, people relocating to LA, or anyone who wants the lifestyle without taking on the full responsibility of a detached home. The question is not, is a condo enough? The question is, does this condo give me the version of LA I actually want? If the answer is yes, do not let anyone make you feel like you are settling. Now, let's talk about townhomes, because this is where a lot of buyers get very interested and slightly confused. Townhomes look like the peace treaty between a condo and a single-family home. More room than many condos. Often a more residential feeling. Maybe a garage. Potential outdoor space. Multiple levels. A layout that can feel more like a house. Less responsibility than a detached home depending on the setup. That sounds great, right? Sometimes it is. A townhome can be an excellent option in Los Angeles, especially if you want more functionality without jumping all the way into full house maintenance. For buyers who work from home, need storage, want a garage, or prefer a little separation from the building style condo experience, a townhome can feel like a relief. But the townhome category needs a closer look because it can mean different things depending on the property. Some townhomes feel spacious and private. Others technically have more square footage, but the layout is chopped across several levels. A rooftop deck may look amazing in photos, then become something you use twice because carrying food and drinks up there feels like training for a reality competition. Stairs can be totally fine until you are doing laundry, carrying groceries, moving furniture, or dealing with a dog that suddenly refuses to participate. Then there's the HOA piece. Some townhomes have lower dues than larger condo buildings. Others still come with meaningful monthly costs and rules that affect how you use the property. Shared walls may still be part of the experience. Outdoor space can vary a lot. Privacy may be better than a condo, but not the same as a detached home. That's why a townhome should not be treated as an automatic upgrade. It should be judged by how well it solves your specific problem. If you need more space, parking, a home-like feel, and less maintenance than a single-family home, a townhome can be a really smart fit. For someone who wants full privacy, a large yard, and complete control over the property, this option may not go far enough. And that's okay. The key is being honest about what you are trying to get away from. Are you leaving the condo idea because you truly need more space? Are you avoiding a detached home because you do not want the maintenance? Do you like the idea of a townhome because it feels practical? Or does it sound like the compromise everyone expects you to make? The difference matters because the best middle ground is only helpful when it actually gives you the middle you wanted. Now, let's talk about single-family homes because this is the one a lot of buyers put on a pedestal. A detached home can absolutely be amazing. Privacy feels different when you are not sharing walls. Control matters when you want to renovate, landscape, personalize, expand, entertain, garden, create outdoor living space, or just feel like the place is fully yours. For buyers thinking long-term, that flexibility can be a major reason to stretch for a house. There's also the emotional side. A single-family home can feel like the finish line. That's the picture many people carry into the search. But in Los Angeles, a house is not only a lifestyle upgrade, it's also a responsibility upgrade. That part needs to be respected. The roof does not call the HOA first. The plumbing is not submitting a maintenance request. The landscaping does not politely handle itself. And when something starts making a sound at 11 p.m., congratulations, you are now the department. This is not meant to scare you. It's meant to make the dream accurate. A single-family home may give you more freedom, but that freedom comes with more ownership. You need to care about inspections, systems, insurance, repairs, maintenance, future upgrades, and how much cash you want available after closing. That last part is important. Some buyers stretch so hard to buy the house that they leave no breathing room to own the house. That's when the stress starts. The payment may technically be possible, but the first big repair feels like a crisis. The yard looked cute during the showing, then became a weekend project. The older charm was adorable until the inspection report started using words you had to Google. A house can still be the right choice. For many buyers, it is. You just need to budget for the life of the property, not only the purchase. A single-family home tends to make the most sense when privacy, control, outdoor space, and long-term flexibility matter enough to take on the added responsibility. If that sounds exciting, not exhausting, you may be a house person. If that sentence made your shoulders tense up, we should talk about that too. Because there is no prize for buying the property type that secretly stresses you out. Now, let's compare these in a way that buyers actually feel during the search. A condo often gives you the easiest entry into a location you may not reach with a detached home. That can be powerful in LA. The trade-off is that your ownership experience is tied to the building, HOA rules, monthly dues, and shared decision-making. A townhome can feel more spacious and functional, especially when parking, storage, or work from home space matters. The catch is that you still need to understand stairs, shared walls, HOA details, outdoor space, and whether the layout actually lives well. And in LA, that matters because budget can shift your property type quickly. In one neighborhood, your budget might point toward a condo. A short drive away, townhomes may come into play. Adjust the map again, and a single-family home might become possible through the condition or location may change. That's why buyers get overwhelmed. They're not only choosing a home, they're choosing which set of trade-offs they're willing to live with. Now let's make this more concrete. If your top priority is being close to restaurants, shops, fitness, the beach, work, or a specific neighborhood lifestyle, a condo may open doors that other property types do not. That's especially true in expensive Westside areas where detached homes can move into a very different price category. If you care more about function, parking, and space than being in the absolute most central location, townhomes may deserve more attention. They can be especially interesting when you want something that feels more residential without managing an entire detached property. For buyers thinking about long-term privacy, control, outdoor living, renovations, or future flexibility, a single-family home may be the goal. But that decision needs to come with a real maintenance budget and a realistic understanding of what ownership requires. This is why I always want buyers to separate the fantasy from the day-to-day experience. Fantasy says, I want the house. Reality asks, do I want to spend weekends managing the house? Fantasy says, I want the condo with amenities. Reality asks, will I use them enough to feel good about the HOA? Fantasy says, a townhome seems like the perfect middle. Reality asks, does the layout actually work, or does it only look good online? That's the kind of thinking that protects you, because the wrong property type does not always feel wrong at the showing. It usually looks exciting at first. The mistake shows up later, when the HOA feels annoying, when the stairs get old, when the yard needs work, when parking is more frustrating than expected, when the house repairs start competing with the fun parts of living in LA, when the condo rules limit something you assumed would be simple. That's why you want to think through ownership before you are emotionally attached. Now let's talk about resale, because this is another part buyers forget until later. Resale depends on a lot of factors: location, condition, building quality, layout, parking, HOA health, buyer demand, and overall market conditions. A great condo in a strong building can be a smart choice. A townhome with functional space and good parking may appeal to future buyers. A single-family home in a desirable location can have strong long-term appeal because land and privacy are limited in many parts of LA. But no property type is automatically a good investment just because of what it is. The details matter. A condo with unusually high dues, weak reserves, limited parking, or a difficult layout may be harder to resell. A townhome with awkward stairs, poor natural light, or limited usable space needs closer evaluation. A house can still be a tough resale if the layout is strange, the condition is rough, or the location does not support the price. So do not buy the category, buy the specific property. That's the part people miss. Now let's talk about the emotional side, because this decision can feel weirdly personal. A lot of buyers feel like they should want a house. That's very common. But the right home is not always the one that sounds most impressive. It's the one that fits the life you are actually living. If a condo gives you the location, convenience, and the simplicity you want, that can be a strong decision. When a townhome gives you the space and parking you need without overwhelming you with maintenance, that's not settling. A single-family home makes sense when the independence is worth the responsibility. None of these choices needs to be defended to anyone else. You're the one living there. You're the one paying for it. You're the one dealing with the maintenance, the HOA, the parking, the layout, the commute, and the lifestyle after the closing celebration is over. So make the choice for your real life, not for someone else's idea of what buying in LA should look like. Here's the simplest way to decide. Start with your non-negotiables. Parking may be one. Monthly payment comfort is usually a big one. Maybe you need outdoor space, or maybe being close to a specific area matters more. Think about how much maintenance you can realistically handle. Look at whether HOA rules fit your future plans. Consider how long you plan to stay. Pay attention to resale, but do not let resale override your actual quality of life. Then ask yourself one final question. Which property type still feels good after the excitement wears off? Because that's the one you are really buying, not the showing version, not the listing photo version, the everyday version. The version where you are tired, carrying groceries, trying to park, working from home, dealing with repairs, paying monthly bills, making weekend plans, and actually living your life. That's the version that matters. So if you're deciding between a condo, townhome, or a single-family home in Los Angeles, Do not start with what sounds like the best category. Start with the ownership experience you actually want. A condo can be a great choice if location, convenience, and lower maintenance matter most. A townhome can be a smart fit when you want more space and function without going all the way into detached home responsibility. A single-family home can be worth it when privacy, control, and flexibility matter enough to take on the extra work. The right answer is not the same for every buyer, and it shouldn't be. The goal is to choose the property type that supports your life, your budget, and your long-term plans, not the one that only looks good on paper. If you're trying to decide which type of home makes the most sense for you in Los Angeles, reach out and we can talk through the options based on your lifestyle, budget, and goals. If you want more honest Los Angeles real estate and neighborhood guidance, subscribe to the channel. I'll keep breaking down what buyers need to understand before making a move here. And comment below which one you are leaning toward right now: condo, townhome, or a single-family home. I want to know what feels like the best fit before you start comparing the details.